Hello, today on HealthSeeker Sparks, I'm joined by Andrew Dare of LED Community Leisure. He is the leisure area manager, amongst other things. Many different roles, right, Andrew? Lots of jobs.
Yes, correct, indeed.
Yeah,
Morning, Don.
so thanks for joining us today on HealthSeeker Sparks. So
Problem?
you guys have been part of the HealthSeeker Accelerator program, the first cohort. So I want to get into that a little bit. But first things first, I often start with what is a health seeker? What does a health seeker mean to you, Andrew?
Yeah, for me, a health seeker is someone that wants to improve their general well-being from a mental and physical perspective. They're probably on someone that's on a start of a journey, someone that's maybe hasn't thought about how exercise can support them. But yeah, so for me, it's about getting someone in, from the starting point really, and it could be someone that's suffering with a long-term health condition. It could be someone that's previously done a lot of sport and then has fallen out the love of it and gone through it. As example is me. I'm the same. Like used to play rugby,
Hmm.
fell out of love, put a bit of weight on, and then for me, I'm looking at how do I change the way that I've kind of got into a cycle of going in and out. So for me, it's about getting those people onto a pathway supported through us, through the team that we have, through changing their behaviours, looking at goals, their aspirations, and making sure that we're a supportive tool to help them improve their health. Now that could be anything from them, currently not doing anything and being sedentary to being able to kind of just walk. Walking's a great way of exercising.
Yeah.
Could be in cycling, could be doing more with the kids. So for me, it's about helping them on their journey, and little bits, often will help. So it's
Mhm.
kind of the starting journey, I feel, for someone to get improve their health, and that supports their physical and well-being, mental
Yeah. So,
well-being. Sorry.
I like the obviously the balance. Yes, it's physical, but it's mental as well. But you're using words like support and yeah, starting people off. And for some people, going for a walk, that's the pinnacle of what they're going to achieve. But there will be others who might want to do a bit more, might want to do some strength training or whatever else. In which case, then yes, you've got the tools there to support them. And I mean, we've been chatting about this, although the program's been running this year, 2026, for those watching this in the distant future. We've been chatting about, and you've had staff go through the health seeker coaching program over the last couple of years. When we bought the accelerator program out at the start of this year, or we were chatting about it end of last year, what was it? What why are LED taking part in it? What appealed to you guys about the accelerator?
I think for me, there's a lot of learnings from trialing pilots and projects like this one, if I'm being honest, Guy. And for us, it's like it was a test and learn. Let's try something different. And our marketing branding is going to be like price led,
Mm.
or it will be around kind of like lose weight. It will be about getting the norm from a fitness perspective that everybody wants to hear. So from my point of view, it was trying something that was around kind of just talking about your health, and it talks about having a health check with us. We can really really support a lot of people. So from my point of view, we have a lot of great coaches that are trained in behavior change coaching, who are personal trainers, but with that personal training they have able to kind of link very well with their clients.
Mm.
But for me, it was about trying something new and different, and marketing slightly differently and around about your health. And for me, the program's been really interesting in that perspective, because I still believe the industry is very much heavily around losing weight, tone up, whereas we know that people are changing their behaviors. People are thinking more about their health and well-being, and that's from a physical and a mental perspective. And there's lots of talk now around children's mental health, and also adults' mental health, especially in men. So I think for me, it's quite important that how can we use exercise as a prescription. We talk about it a lot, but
Mm.
also how do we get people in that probably are feeling a bit nervy, don't want to go in those facilities, or go and exercise because they don't feel that they're at that right point, because they might be carrying a few more pounds. But reality, that doesn't matter. If you're healthy and you feel good in yourself, then that's the most important, and it should be about you and not about others. And I think that's the biggest part of the Health Seekers program for me, was trying to get normal people trying to get back into exercise or start exercise from, and making those small little, little bits of points from a goal from, being sedentary to be able to walk, 400, 500 yards, whatever it may be for them. And actually for them to feel, I've really achieved something. And from that, I actually, when I wake up in the morning, I feel better for myself. And I think that's a big part of us taking in the program. And like I said at the beginning, something different, a test and learn, and let's try something, and market it slightly differently. And let's see what the uptake is based on the traditional marketing we've done in the past.
Yeah, and I think so. Obviously, that whole marketing to new people, test and learn. There was also an aspect of from within the industry. I remember sitting in a room with you and Nick and Reese from actually Plymouth. So, and you were quite. I want to do something like this, but I feel like it's a bit renegade. It's a bit outside the box. I think with the kind of words you're using. I remember Reese saying, "Mate, do it."
Yeah.
Just doing different stuff is really important. Otherwise, we're just going to keep on doing the same thing. We'll keep on getting the same thing. We'll keep on getting the 17% into our facilities, working out, having a great time, picking up heavy stuff, putting it down again. Right? But to test and to do something different, and that's where, there's a massive thanks from me and from Dean to you guys kind of jumping in this and saying, yeah, we want to do something different. We want to not break the mold, but look at new ways of getting people in and test and learn from that kind of stuff. Which, it's not, HealthSeekers is not the solution. It's a way that we can help grow the fitness industry, getting more people in. But the accelerator is more of a learn, more of a let's try different stuff and see what happens, see what works, see what doesn't. So how is it going, or what have you learned at LED being on the program?
I think I'll be honest with you, Guy. I kind of have been a little bit disappointed with the uptake, and we've posted it through socials, and the branding hasn't and the marketing hasn't been around kind of get fit or anything. It has been around behavior change. It has been around like do you want to look at your health, and linking in with the daily 100 challenge, which I think is a brilliant tool. It's really quick and easy. And again, like you said, the most logged at the moment with LED is 36 days, which is great. And we're hoping that they do 90 days to get them into that habit. But for me, it's been a little bit disappointing with the uptake. Now, again, is that because it's not the traditional marketing? Could be. Is it that we're not marketing correctly ourselves? But from the test and learn and how we would do some things differently would be how we get them in. So again, we looked at review and reflecting of maybe getting people in for a health check, which I feel would have a bigger uptake. And then from that, we then link them into the, Feel Younger program, which could be a 30-day program or into a 90-day program. So I think learnings would be promote it as a health check, get people in. And then from that, they're coming into the building. They've taken the first step to get through our building, which is always a barrier. But for me is, do we need to do it on a leisure centre building? Could we do it in a cafe? Could we do it in a different facility, which actually allows us to be kind of, away from the normal facility with a normal person? So linking probably more into our community aspect, so our community coaches, and then they can go, well, here you go, here's some offerings that we can offer you to get you on that journey. We can support you. So I think that's the learnings I've taken from it. And even now, just thinking on this call is like, how do we link? We work quite closely with the MSK, the NHS in regards to linking through long-term health conditions. And for me, we run a GP referral school, and I kind of see this before that as an element of, we don't need to prescribe by a doctor, but someone could prescribe themselves onto this program. Now, for me, I think that's where this could be seen as that program. So it could be, a health seekers program, which is linked into someone that's interested in getting started, but they can link into a 30-day program or 60-day or a 90-day program to get them started. And we've got the team, that have done the training and support to kind of get that going. And I think that's where, for me, it can fit moving forward, and how we brand that and how we set that within our digital toolkits is how we need to do it, because the program there would work. So I think for me, that's where my head is at. That's where we need to move forward, given, time and the right people driving it within the business, which sometimes is hard work as well when you're trying to do it across a multiple estate. And that's where I think for us, piloting it maybe at one site, moving forward with a different aspects to what we've done, using the Daily 100 as a toolkit within it is where we need to go, and then making sure we've got the right touch points at the right time. So for instance, I think with these types of people, the face-to-face is more prominent, so having that more face-to-face contact, but also letting them learn from themselves as well. So not heavily being relying on that coach, but the coach being there as a supportive network for them to develop, and how we then are able, especially in LED, and we need to work on this, as how we have those kind of digital touch points and how do they work.
Yes.
And how, so that allows that coach to still be supporting outside of, you know, them visiting. So I think that's what we've learned from the program. And I think it's you know, it's like anything when you're testing and learning a program, you know, we want to take, you know, you take the positives out of it. Yes, we didn't get the uptake we wanted. I was surprised, but again, you know, it's down to marketing something slightly different, and a lot of people want to see the lose weight, you know, make a difference. They want a short impact, whereas this is about, for honest, this is about long term. It's not about short term. It's about them getting into an exercise habit will be long term for the rest of their lives, and that's a challenge for people. You know, we know about the 2-year cycle of getting on and jumping off and etc. So, for me, that is still a challenge for the industry, and will be.
Yeah, absolutely. But having something, just it is harder to get someone over the threshold into a leisure centre for a health check. But when you do, you're going to have an interaction with them. It's the equivalent of someone doing a class online during lockdown versus someone coming into the centre and doing a class with Jen, the amazing instructor, right? It's completely different. Well, the end result, you know, yes, I'm looking to improve my health, but you're going to get a lot more engagement for someone coming in, and that will lead on to hopefully either some more coaching or you know, another health check, or as you say, maybe filling in the Daily 100 as a tool, which can also feed back to the coach to go, Andrew's done it 10 times now, and he's improved his score by 10, and he's improved his score by working on his, I mean, I know yours went up. We don't always talk about ourselves as examples, but what was it that boosted your score as you saw it go up? Do you remember?
Yeah, I'll be honest, my score when I first did it was pretty low, pretty poor. And I think for me, what it helped me do is go, when I looked at when I looked through the different segments, I kind of went, well, actually, you know, I wasn't exercising regularly. I was very ad hoc. So for me, my point of view, it made me kind of go, well, actually, I don't need to do, I'm all or nothing. So I'm like, exercise 5 times a week or do nothing. So for me, it was like, actually, if I just do 3 things a week, could be 30, 45 minutes, could be a bit of strength training, could be a walk, you know, at lunchtime, get out for a walk, you know, simple things like that, which aren't difficult for everybody. And you need to make time, you know, everybody's busy lives. So for me, that was it. And it was a lot of it's around my nutrition diet. So it's around drinking more water. It was around making sure that I'm eating, if I eat 3 square meals, don't snack, you know, it's those simple things. And also it's like the vegetables, you know, and it's interesting when you break it down, I don't eat those things. And like, it's because you're kind of picking, or you're going from here and you're busy, you know, and the end of the day is we don't have a lot of time. So you have to make time, which is hard. So again, from my point of view, I'm a normal person, like it, you know, and a good example of where actually, you know, exercise, I have to make time for it. So yeah, from my point of view, it was interesting content to make sure that I'm changing. And I have, like, say 90 days in, again, it's a retention curve for a little bit for me for the logging. But from that to me is I know that I'm better now, because actually it's helped my nutrition. I'm drinking more water, and actually now I'm thinking, right, actually I can go for that let's get out for that 20-minute walk. Now that's changed me. Doesn't mean that necessarily I'm going to a gym, but that's
an interesting point, and I often I'm on about the hydration thing or the nutrition thing, But the reason I do that a lot in these kind of conversations, and we'll do on stage at Elevate in a couple of weeks as well, is because the answer is not always the gym. And I think both you and Nick, talking about, oh, can we include classes, can we include gym memberships? And I think you can, but I think it probably almost distracts from some of the marketing to say you don't have to join the gym for this. And looking at the numbers, it's nearly always nutrition and hydration that are the lower scores rather than exercise. And I know we've got a lot of people in Daily 100 who are more gym people, but those are where people can improve. But going back to that, having that information and giving that to the coach, who might then reach out to the health seeker and go, I can see you're improving, great work. It's that kind of affirmation and accountability that will help with these kind of programs going forward. So, but getting people in for a health check in the first place, absolutely, that's ideal. And to switch it up a little bit and go, right, we've learned that Daily 100, it's a great little digital start, soft touch, don't have to come into the leisure centre. But obviously there's way more value in getting someone in for a £30 health check and to actually come in and have an interaction with them.
Yeah. And I think for me, is like you said, it's that first interaction, isn't it? It's building a relationship with that coach that you talk to. And like I said, is that person might come in and, 4 months later down the line, they'll go, well, actually, I want to take that next step and I want to kind of do a bit more strength training, and therefore I want to go into the gym facility. Therefore, then you've built the relationship up with the coach. Therefore, then they can come in, they have that second interaction with the coach, and then they feel at ease, they feel comfortable. That might be a group exercise class. It might be playing pickleball. It could be joining a wellbeing walk that we do. It could be any of those aspirations. It could be going for a swim. It could be Good Boost. There's lots of elements and programs that we can provide to numerous of people from, ages from starting swimming at 2 years old up to people that are 95, 100. So for me, it's about understanding that individual to be able to guide them to the right point that they want to do, rather than us thinking we should tell them what to do, because we know that doesn't work. So being able to guide them and support them through their journey individually is where we need to be. And that's through coaching, generally coaching. And that's a change in the industry now, is around coaching, guiding, supporting goals, rather than being there at, the old style kind of training that was there years ago.
I think I know from the work we've done, but also with others as well, that is one of the big wins for the program generally is the staff, in terms of the staff getting more purpose, and just also then going and coaching your existing members. But is that, would you put that there, or what? I'm just trying to think of what would be what's a good roundup question. I don't want to do a would you recommend this to other people, but if there was one or two big wins for LED as part of doing this, what would they be?
I think for me, it's making sure the product mix is right. So what does that look like for you, and what can you offer that individual? And we know if you give everything away for free, people don't buy into that. So giving what I'd say a price point, which will get people, because price is a barrier, we know that. So let's get people in that's a right price point with the right product mix that allows people to take part, supported by the right coaches. And I think for us, it's one of those things, is picking the right people to do this, because you will have you'll have personal trainers who, are proper personal training. I'm not saying proper person, you know what I mean? Personal trainers, whereas we want people that are more coach wise. So, like our community coaches are much better at this, because they're being a supported network for these people and building a relationship. And I think that's quite important. The team are essential in this. Like, ultimately, people buy from people, and ultimately it's about building those relationships. So I think for me, is you look at your product mix, and if you look at having the right team delivering, is those golden nuggets. And ultimately our ethos is about making people feel better and getting more out of life. And this is a prime example of a program that can do that.
Yeah.
So those are my two quick wins. And that is quite simple when you say about it, isn't it? But delivering it is.
Yeah, it is. But go back to, leisure area manager and, 23 other roles probably, depending on what day of the week or day of the month it is. And to bring it, to focus on something like this, that is out a little bit outside the box. All credit to you for trying it, because it is really hard. Because you've also got to keep hitting the sales targets and making sure that pulls open and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the people about in terms of those two takeaways, the people that are doing it, absolutely, it's got to be the right people, and broadening the product mix a little bit and saying we are not just here for fitness. That's a bold thing to do, but it's the way the industry needs to go.
Yeah. And there's a balance, isn't there, Guy, with everything you do, isn't there?
Of course, yeah, but pushing ahead and being a bit maverick is important. So thank you for doing it with us. I look forward to working with you going forwards. And so you're not at Elevate, we don't think, unless there's a last minute reprieve, and we do see you there. But if people do want to connect and reach out and say, but what was it really like, then they can probably connect with you on LinkedIn, or is that?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. Yeah, more than happy if
Yeah.
anybody wants to connect or talk to me or drop me an email or on LinkedIn, and then we can catch up. Happy to do Teams calls with everybody. At the end of the day, the industry is about sharing, isn't it? Sharing ideas and concepts so that we can all make it better for everyone. So, yeah, more than happy to reach out. Yes, sadly I will not be at Elevate. So
All right.
which
Next
is a
time.
shame. Next time.
All right. Well, yeah. Listen, thanks so much for joining me. Always a pleasure catching up, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you very much, Guy.